Cassidy Scott is a 14-year-old Howard County student who requires a wheelchair to get around. Her mom reached out to us back in January. She was concerned about her daughter's emergency evacuation plan. Well, today the Scott family was in Annapolis advocating for statewide changes to school evacuation policies for people with disabilities. And Focus reporter Mallory Safaste is there now live. Mallory, is it a possibility? When could we see this new legislation?
Well, Kelly, the bill creates a task force that reviews statewide policies. So right now, schools in Maryland are required to have evacuation plans for students with disabilities, but there's no requirement that those kids be removed from the building before first responders arrive.
How they can make changes.
For years, Lori Scott has worked to get a plan in place so that her daughter Cassidy will be evacuated with her peers. The plan right now is for her to wait with the school staff member in the upstairs stairwell until emergency services arrive. The Howard County Public School System has said this plan was approved by the county fire department and follows national standards. But as a parent, it doesn't sit right with Lori.
How can we make this better, more efficient, and more safe?
Stephen Hess is another parent in Howard County struggling with that same question. His daughter takes several AP classes on the second floor throughout the school day.
Well, my daughter has muscular dystrophy. She's in a power wheelchair, and the original concept this year was to evacuate her to a stairwell, any stairwell, with a representative from the school, but not to evacuate her completely from the structure.
Scott and Hess were both in Annapolis today advocating for a bill that would charge a task force with answering that question.
This task force will be kind of supervised, and the oversight will be done by the MSD, Maryland State Department of Education, to look at what's happening currently, to do kind of a national best practice look to see what's happening with evacuation and emergency planning across the states, across this state, across the counties here.
The current state guidelines were implemented in 2013, but as Susan Somerville Haas with the Arc of Maryland points out, no one from the disability community was listed as a contributor on the report. This new task force would be made up of 27 members and would include students, school officials, as well as disability and safety advocates.
We really need to rewrite the regulations to include specific standards that the 24 local school systems can look to when they're doing their own individual plans, and they're thinking about the students, the staff, and the visitors in their buildings who have disabilities and what they can do to accommodate them during an emergency.
So some options include installing evacuation chairs, other devices to better assist someone with a disability outside of the building. But with this task force, they want to see what the experts have to say before they push for state regulations. In Annapolis, I'm Mallory Safaste.